Hello, everyone. My topic of discussion for my informative speech is on the evolution of nursing. And I chose the topic because I am a nurse, and nursing is, I'm very passionate about nursing. And I would like to give you all an insight of how, from nursing from ancient time to what modern nursing is today. All right. There always been sick people, and sick people needed someone to care for them and to help them heal. Um, so that's when nursing came in, and most early cultures produced nurses from a religious, based on religious principles, and these group of nurses were dedicated. They were dedicating their themselves to help the sick and the needy. And about the in ancient history, we had by maybe about 100 BC, there was a book written in India, which was called the Charaka Shanita. And this book stated that to have good medical practice, it requires for you to have a physician, nurses, patients, and medicine. But the nurses must have they must be good in preparing formulations and dosage. They must be sympathetic to everyone, and they must be clean. Even the Bible had mentioned had mentioned about an early nurse. Her name was Phoebe, and she was mentioned in the book of Rome by the Apostle Paul, about her service and dedication of caring for the sick. During the medieval period, nurses was basically come from the Catholic Church, and they were mostly they were nuns, and they were monks. And even during that time, men even played a important role in nursing, because monks were men. And what the back at that particular time, the the nurses, they didn't have like a form, didn't go to a formal school or had a formal education. They learned basically by hands on. And so the other nurses would teach, or other nuns and nurses would teach other women on how to care for the sick and needy. And there was a time when the nursing field was like at an all-time low, because of the Protestants came in and they took over. And they the Protestant church, I would say, they took over, and they got rid of a lot of Catholic churches, schools. And so as a result, a lot of sick people was not being cared for. And at one time, nursing, the only people that were able to do nursing type work were what they considered undesirable women, were prostitutes, alcoholics, or prisoners. And about, maybe about 1860, it was a preacher and his wife. They established a school in Germany, and the preacher name was Theodor Felderman, and his wife was named Frederica. And they established the school in Germany called Kaiserwerth Institute. And what they did, they established what we call modern nursing, and out of that school came the what most nurses know, and was a lady named Florence Nightingale. And Florence Nightingale is what she is known as the pioneer of modern day nursing. And what she came in, she was commissioned by Sir Sidney Hubert to recruit other females to during the Clementine War in England. And basically what Florence Nightingale did was she would help care for the sick and wounded during the war, and she would have a lamp, and they would call her the lamp lady, and she would even during in the middle of the night she would care for some of the sick and wounded soldiers. So she did teach a lot of nurses, women, on how to care for the wounded and sick. And in 1860, Florence Nightingale established a school, and the school was called the Nightingale Training School of Nurses, and it was open at the St. Thomas Hospital in London. And this school was used to train modern day nurses. And basically in her time, the nurse, she was combining the theory of nursing with the medical aspects of it. And a lot of her practices are used today in nursing, where nurses have to use the not only have to know how to do nursing, they have to be able to put some of the medical aspects of nursing towards what they're doing in order to be a good nurse. The nursing today, they are used in a lot of fields. And one thing about nursing, it's a field that will always you always need nurses. Even during the time of right now, when we have the corona pandemic, you constantly hear on the news there's a shortage of nurses, and nurses playing a pivotal role in the medical in caring for people, because they are very well needed. Not only do nurses work in hospitals, but they work in other businesses as well. They are occupational nurses. Lawyers use nurses as consultants on different cases. Even insurance companies use nurses to do case management. So nursing is a very vast field, and not only is nursing I would say, one thing I say about nursing is a field where that if you really care for people and care for the healing of people, you can really enjoy doing it, and you get paid for doing what you enjoy doing. I hope you all learned about, got some information about nursing, and you all have a good night.